Hi, I'm Greta.
And I'm Claudia, and welcome to Knitters and Critters, where we talk about Critical Role Campaign 3 and also our knitting projects.
Episode 2 of this campaign is called A Trial by Firelight, and it picks up right where the first episode left off. The ancient-looking but still formidable Lord Estros has lunged in for an attack, and he gets in a few good punches, as does the rest of the party, with the notable exception of Bertrand, who whiffs spectacularly. Gotta love Bertrand and those dice rolls.
Wow.
Still, after a pretty short battle, Estros calls the fight to a halt, sits down, and explains his damn self. Estros was a mercenary before he inherited his title, albeit a mercenary with a heart of gold. He now seeks out adventuring parties who share his do-gooder mentality, looking to fight this darkness that he sees growing in the city. Most notably, this entails fighting off the Ivory Syndicate, which is a criminal organization that Estros fears is corrupting the governing Chandai Quorum. If the group is interested in working for him, albeit secretly, Estros will reward them not only with money, but with the contacts that the group so desperately needs. Seems like everyone's on board, but in true D&D fashion, they have to go somewhere to talk it out. It's just typical.
Oh, yeah.
So the group retreats to the Weary Way Tavern to discuss what just happened. Basically, they went there just to yell at Bertrand for not warning them that Estros was about to attack them.
Yeah, he pretty much just threw them in.
Yeah, and Bertrand doesn't have a good response to this, which combined with his, let's face it, non-existent fighting skills, as well as the revelation that he abandoned his last fighting troop in their darkest hour, does nothing to inspire confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, why would it?
Right.
It does make me wonder, though, what Travis has in mind for this character, because from a storytelling perspective, it feels like he only has three options here. Either one, this is going to be like a really long-running redemption arc, which I think might be interesting. Two, maybe Bertrand's just going to be this bit character that comes in and out here and there whenever Travis has time. I mean, he is the CEO of the company. I could understand if time really wasn't on his side, especially with Robbie being in the game.
Yeah.
And then third, I mean, I hate to say it, but he could be getting ready to pull a Molly and dying off early on. But maybe his death will kind of pull these disparate characters together. So we'll have to wait and see and stay tuned, and I think all will be revealed sooner or later.
I think so too. And
either way, Bertrand needs an ass kicking because he's kind of a little shit at this point.
definitely, yeah, not totally able to be trusted.
Yeah. Well, over food and drinks, there are some other interesting story bits that emerge. Most notably, for me anyway, is the revelation that Laudna is originally from Whitestone. Whitestone is a place that featured heavily during Campaign 1. The ruling DeRollo family ruled over Whitestone for many, many years before they were, I guess we could charitably say, deposed. Murdered and run off out of town. And Laudna was there when that happened. She said she was a girl, but she still looks like a girl, so it's all kind of feeding into the mystery that is Laudna. She does claim, and I think this is really interesting, that she didn't know that Whitestone has been returned to the DeRollos. Both Orem and Bertrand have ties to Campaign 1 characters, and so they know that the DeRollos are back in charge. But Laudna just says, in a very hand-wavy kind of way, "Oh, I've been alone for a long, long time."
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it, but are you ever really alone with a pet rat for a friend? Love. Well, unsurprisingly, the group returns to Lord Estros, willing to take him up on his offer for work. It's really just like a trial run at this point, which makes sense as all parties are still kind of feeling themselves out. So to test the waters with their new employer, Estros has a little investigation project for them. He supports a school in the core spire called Dial Hall. The hall has been reporting that there have been thefts in some shipments that they've received from one of Estros's other holdings, Prudage Textiles. The group is supposed to go to Prudage Textiles and try to figure out what the source of the threat is, and if they can, handle the problem, please do. They head immediately out to the warehouse and decide, well, maybe 8 random people strolling into a warehouse wouldn't be the most, incognito way to run an investigation, thankfully. So they break up into a couple of teams. Fern and Bertrand take the front door, just kind of looking out and making sure there's no one watching. Orem, Imogen, and FGC do the heavy work of actually going inside, while the remaining team of Loudna, who am I forgetting, Dorian and Ashton, is that everyone? Yeah. Go to the back door to kind of search and see what they can find out there. Like I said, Imogen and her group are really doing the heavy lifting. She manages to sweet talk her way in to see the manager, a gnome named Danas, while Orem and FGC kind of creep around the warehouse to see what they can find. And it's not long before they do find evidence of theft occurring there, as well as this strange gravelly substance, which FGC identifies as broomstone, which is a very rare blue stone that's used in the manufacture of skyships. The trade of broomstone is very heavily guarded and regulated. Yeah, that's a good word for it. So it's very odd to find it in a textile warehouse, to say the least. At this point, Fern, being Fern, decides that she's sick of hanging out with old man Bertrand and wants to come and help. Shockingly, the appearance of this gigantic fawn druid in the back of a textile warehouse sets off alarm bells for Danas. So she kicks everyone out, but not before Imogen and FGC pick up some get out, get out, get out kind of panicky thoughts from her. I love that we have 2 telepaths in the group. I think it's going to be so interesting.
I agree, and I also like when everybody contributes to Loudna's, messages.
When she does her messages and everyone's going, it's just perfection. I love it. It's like Ukatoa from last season. Well, the group regroups, I guess we can say, in the back of the warehouse to kind of figure out what their next step is. It's pretty clear that there's something shady going on, but they don't really know what that is yet. So the obvious conclusion is that it's time for a stakeout. I feel like we need to cue the 70s buddy cop music here. We'll do that in post.
Are open in the morning.
The group once again splits up into different subgroups. It's violating the one rule of D&D. Let's say it together. Don't split the party. Nevertheless, they do. Team Backdoor is made up of Fern, Loudna, Ashton, and FGC, while Team Full Frontal is Imogen, Bertrand, Dorian, and Orem. Well, the workers of the warehouse pack up and leave for the day. Orem manages to sneak inside thanks to an invisibility spell that Dorian casts on him. He's hoping to see Danas in the middle of doing whatever it is that she's up to. Of course, that's when everything goes tits up for this party. Danas just leaves without him seeing anything, takes the light with her, which means our poor
tiny
Orem is just left in the dark, alone in this gigantic warehouse.
Yep.
Meanwhile, as Danas is making a run for it, Bertrand decides to go after her. So Imogen goes after Bertrand. Again, everything's going to shit at this point. And to make matters even more precarious for poor Orem, Loudna is there, speaking directly with a messaging spell in her creepy witch voice. There's nothing says comforting like Loudna's voice in your ear when you're alone in enemy territory, with Fern pounding on the back door. Because, sure, Fern can break through a welded shut door. Why not? So, yeah. What's that saying about best laid plans?
Truth.
So what were the episode's highlights for you?
I would have to say, Team Full Frontal and Team Backdoor, because I don't think anything can be done without some kind of innuendo with this group.
Of course not.
That's half the fun. I like that even during the battle with Laura Strauss and with Dorian giving Orem the invisibility spell, they're all starting to help out. They're all starting to have each other's backs. And I mean, you and I know this from our game sessions. It's nice that as capable as we are, it's nice to get, a little helping hand from a fellow player.
It's nice to see them coming together as that unit, too. I really enjoyed that. It's funny, I was kind of laughing about it earlier that they had to go somewhere to talk it out. It's like the writer in me knows that like that would be the scene in any book that gets thrown out and tossed on the editing floor.
Right.
But it was such a nice scene. They really turned it around with all of Marisha's backstory with Loudna, and oh my god, the way she puppets that dead rat, Pate de Rolo.
That's else.
Have you seen any of Campaign 1 yet, or do you just kind of know what happens? Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like she has to know more about the de Rolos.
Oh, she
seems
does.
to have such definite opinions about the de Rolos and all of those P names.
I think she does, and I think, I don't know, my idea is that she's gone through some stuff, and, you know, things are blocked as a form to protect herself, but definitely I do think that she knows more.
Yeah, she might be a reformed bad girl.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. Yeah. I hope they get to go back to Whitestone and she has to kind of reckon with that nonsense. I don't know if it'll actually happen, because then you'd have to worry about the whole Percy and Rex issue, but a girl can dream, right?
Yes, definitely.
Well, should we switch things up and start talking about some knitting?
Let's talk about some knitting.
What are you working on?
Well, I am still working on Steve's Sweater 5.0, which I talked about last episode. And, Mama made a boo-boo and picked up stitches for the collar in the wrong spots. And I'm very glad that was just its own piece, so I didn't have to undo this entire front.
That would be a nightmare.
But now the collar is done. That's beautiful. The shawl collar. And Steve was very happy to see it.
Yeah.
And
one of these days, I'm going to have you do a tutorial about how to pick up stitches.
Oh, yeah.
Because that whole process is mystifying to me.
Yeah. I mean, I think once you do it once, you'll be like, oh, please.
We'll have to do like the close-up, like YouTube video type thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someday. Plans.
And then the other thing I finished, this is called Annie Bucket Hat by Two of Wands. And this is the coziest thing I have. And this is totally giving me, you know, Kate Middleton walking down to Christmas Day service with the Queen and Darling William and the children. And the children. And being
the 500-year-old cathedrals with no heat.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I'd be wearing this too. It's very, very Anna Karenina and...
Yes, it is very Russian. I love that.
Dr. Zhivago.
Yeah.
And not surprisingly, I have like 5 other colors of this because I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's very cozy. It's crocheted. I think I made it in 2 hours.
Holy crap. Nice.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. This is from Lion Brand yarn.
Okay.
Go for faux.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm sure Kate Middleton doesn't go for faux.
Yes,
but,
well,
it's
only.
okay.
We can't all be Kate Middleton.
No. So yeah, I love it, and how is your blanket coming along?
Good. It's coming along really well.
Oh my goodness.
It's like this whole edifice now of blanket. I love knitting it. It's so soft, but it's like, it's warm as I knit it. So I just like lay it across my lap and soak in the warmth.
Right.
But of course now my husband wants me to make him one. So I'm probably going to be working on a version of this darn blanket for the rest.
Make it in pink.
Yeah, he's gonna get a nice lilac colored blanket.
I look good with his color.
Yes, who doesn't love a Greek man in lilac? I would love it if I could find like a pattern where I could do some color work, because he's very into Star Wars. So I think it'd be cool to like do a Star Wars, thingamabob. Very, very official thingamabob.
So we all call it in the industry.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully I can find something.
So much.
Yeah.
It's like my hat.
Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, it's the same faux fur idea.
It's 20 degrees outside where we are right now.
Yes.
Awesome. Do you have any projects you're looking forward to this week?
I am looking forward. Yeah, I mean, this is supposed to be his. I usually have it finished by Christmas, if not before.
Okay.
If I have it done before, then he'll wear it to work. He likes to show off. And people, I mean, this is a fifth one, so people already know that he has sweaters, handmade sweaters, and they're like, is that one? And, sometimes they're like, no, this is Target. But, yeah, so I'm excited about finishing it, and...
well, it's got to be home stretch, because it's just the sleeves.
Just the sleeves, yeah. I started the first sleeve, and, I'm very excited.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for joining us this week on Knitters and Critters. We'll be back next week with another episode, but in the meantime, please feel free to like and subscribe this video and check out any comments. Leave some comments for us. We love chit-chatting with people. And, of course, find us on Instagram at Knitters and Critters. Bye.
Until next time.